What's going on, everybody? You have Tone here, back with some more Draft League content, this time bringing you guys the Team Builder and Battle for Week 1 of the RODL, where this week your Miami Malamarlins are going to be kicking off the season, taking on Lord Z and his Philadelphia Phantumps. I do hope I'm pronouncing his name correct. Excuse me. Still trying to get back into the swing of, recording things on a regular basis, but regardless, if you guys did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. Also be sure to check out the channel later, as I will be trying my best to upload all my games for this upcoming season of the RODL. As I mentioned in the draft analysis, this league's a little bit different. It's a Wi-Fi league, but it is the first one I'm actually doing where it will be played at level 100 as opposed to level 50, which is what I'm more accustomed to. But regardless though, the concepts, the EV spreads, the game plan still is very much similar, just at level 100 as opposed to level 50. Not really that much of a difference. But as you can see, going into the matchup, we are playing Lord Z and his Philadelphia Phantumps, and as you can see, he only has he went with the bare minimum of Pokemon on the roster with 9. Very, very top-heavy team. Well, his entire team is kind of threatening. Tapu Lele can be a bit of a nuisance. Mamoswine, it's very, very annoying to deal with in general, just because Ice plus Ground is just so good in general against my team and against most teams in general. For the most part, Rotom Wash can be a little bit of a nuisance, just for the fact that it can spread burns and Volt Switch on most of my team, not named Swampert, but Swampert won't appreciate getting burnt at all by Will-O-Wisp. Lucario, interesting, can be a setup sweeper, and then he has a good amount of defensive Pokemon to back up his offense. Druddigon can be a bit of a nuisance with Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet. Miltank with Thick Fat can be a bit of a pain for my Cinderace to get past, and then Umbreon is just a good special wall for most of my special attackers, but I can handle Umbreon pretty well. And then the Decidueye, one of the Pokemon I really, really wanted in the draft. And then he also snagged up his last pick being Reboot. But with that being said, though, there are some things on his team that I can exploit in terms from a matchup perspective. The first thing that comes to mind is the fact that his team is relatively slow. Outside of the, well, for the most part, his fastest Pokemon from a speed tier standpoint is the Miltank at base 100, which is a Pokemon that's not really running max speed a lot. Like, I feel like he would want to be a bit more defensive, it takes hits a little bit better, stuff like that. So yeah, if it's from a real perspective, his fastest Mon in that retrospect would be the Tapu Lele. And he also has an abundance of Stealth Rockers, at least roughly half his team, or at least 3 Pokemon does get Stealth Rock, the Mamoswine, the Druddigon, and the Miltank. But the fact that he does have a relatively slow team does make it a bit easier for me to take advantage of with some of my faster Mons, which I will get into in the Team Builder. So with that out of the way, let's just jump right into this matchup and see what I ended up bringing for week number 1. So first off, we do have my Celesteela with leftovers, Autotomized, Heavy Slam, Earthquake, and Seed Bomb. This roughly does a really good job as a potential late game sweeper, because the things that I need to be weakened on his team isn't really that difficult to weaken if I do play it correctly. The things that I do need weakened for Celesteela to do anything, Druddigon is one of the main components of one of the main Pokemon I need weakened on his team, so that way I am not taking unnecessary damage from potential Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet. Rotom is another one, because I do not knock out Rotom Wash with Seed Bomb at all if it's at a relatively high amount of HP. And the Umbreon is also another Pokemon that can actually take a few hits from Celesteela if it is at a good amount of HP. Regardless, everything else on his team is hit neutrally by at least one of my Celesteela's 3 moves. Heavy Slam is there for the Tapu Lele and the Mamoswine, Earthquake for the Lucario mainly, and Reboot to a lesser extent, but it's there for Reboot as well. And then Seed Bomb specifically hits the Rotom Wash. As for the EVs are just basically enough HP to guarantee hit a leftovers number. So I get the most amount of health back from leftovers while also mitigating the amount of damage I take from potential Stealth Rock from either one of the 3 Stealth Rockers. The 224 speed is enough to guarantee outspeed a Choice Scarf Mamoswine after an Autotomize, and then the rest I just threw into attack to boost the power of my physical hit, my physical moves. So Celesteela is looking like a good potential late game win con in this matchup. Moving on to my next Pokemon, we do have my Cinderace, which was running my personal favorite set on Cinderace: Powerball, Taunt, Super Fang, and U-Turn. This is like my go-to Cinderace set in pretty much most situations. Just because of the fact that it combines so much utility into one set. I have the ability to taunt his potential Stealth Rockers. I can taunt the Miltank for going for rocks or recovering with Miltank. I can taunt the Umbreons, prevent that thing from going for Wish. I can taunt the Rotom, prevent that thing going for Pain's Foot or whatever the case may be. And then Super Fang is there to chip down the Druddigon, which helps my Celesteela. I can chip down the Umbreon, helps out Celesteela. The Miltank, which helps out Celesteela. So yeah, you see the trend that I'm going through with Taunt and Taunt and Super Fang. Just a really, really good tandem in general for Cinderace. Powerball is nice and spammable against his team. Since most of his fire resists are basic. It's the Rotom, the Druddigon, Thick Fat Miltank, for the most part. Reboot, if you want to go that far. He does have a good amount of fire resists, but at the same time, though, I can U-turn out on those resists into something else on my team, so it's not really all that big of a deal as far as I'm concerned. As for the EVs, because of the speed tiers, I only need 64 EVs with a Jolly Nature to outspeed Tapu Lele. I'm not going to bother trying to outspeed Miltank because, like I said earlier, I really don't think that a max speed Jolly Miltank is really going to be coming. If he's going to be offensive, then props to him, but I really just don't see offensive Miltank being that effective for the most part in this matchup. And then with my bulk, so with the 248 HP and the 12 in special defense, I can guaranteed live an uninvested Rotom Wash's Hydro Pump from full. And then with my defense investment, I can take specific hits like +2 Adamant, Life Orb Extreme Speed from Lucario, and specifically with the way my HP, attack, and defense investment is, I have enough defense with enough attack investment to ensure that my Cinderace is never 2 KO'd by Umbreon's Foul Play. Like the max roll it does is 49. So I have the amount of bulk I need to live the Foul Play while having the maximum amount of attack on my Cinderace to hit as hard as possible with Powerball and U-Turn. So yeah, that is the Cinderace set. And then moving on to my next Pokemon, we have a Choice Specs Diancie. Yes, Choice Specs Diancie. You look at my opponent's team, you look at his Fairy Resist. He technically has none. If you want to count the Reboot, then he has one. But if the Reboot, since it does have access to Libero, if the Reboot is not a Fire type or any type that resists Fairy, he has nothing that wants to switch in to a Choice Specs Moonblast. It even got to the point where I honestly didn't even want to bring Power Gem and Psychic on my Diancie because of the fact that I really am only going to be clicking Moonblast in this matchup. His Reboot is his only real Fairy Resist, which I still don't count as a Fairy Resist for the most part. His Steel type is a Lucario, which does not resist Fairy, so that's not going to switch in. And everything else on his team essentially will get 2 KO'd by Choice Specs Moonblast. And I threw on Stealth Rock on my Diancie because of the fact that it's my Stealth Rocker. It's the only Pokemon I am bringing another Pokemon that does get Stealth Rock, but for the most part, it's not a setup. It's not a Stealth Rock setter, and I figured if I can force a switch with Diancie, I can get up rocks that way. But for the most part, I'm just going to click a Moonblast. That's all there is to it with this Diancie set. So yeah, max special attack, modest nature, hit as hard as possible with enough speed to guarantee outspeed an uninvested Umbreon, and the rest is just thrown into HP. Very straightforward Diancie set. I really only needed Moonblast and Stealth Rock in this game. Then moving on, we do have my Vikavolt with the heavy duty boots, Volt Switch, Bug Buzz, Thunderbolt, and Roost. This is my Mamoswine check, because I really don't have much else to switch that wants to take a hit from Mamoswine. This is the lone exception, because Vikavolt at the very least can negate the ground stab because of Levitate. Technically, so is Celesteela, but since Celesteela is a bit more of a Setup Sweeper, I'd rather not taking any damage unless it absolutely needs to. Vikavolt is going to be my slow pivot for this matchup, just because of the fact that having that slow momentum is a lot more beneficial for my team in the long run. Getting the slow momentum into something like my Cinderace, my Celesteela, my Diancie helps them out immensely, especially if I can avoid take any unnecessary damage on if at all possible. And quite honestly, all I needed for this game is dual stab. I contemplated Energy Ball for a bit to hit the Rotom and the Mamoswine, but since Bug Buzz still 2-hit KO'd them, I didn't really see the need to run Energy Ball, and plus Bug Buzz also gives me a means of hitting the Decidueye neutrally as well as the Druddigon, which is also two big things I would like to get damage off on if at all possible. So that is the idea behind the Vikavolt set. As for the EVs, we have 248 HP, 92 defense, 140 special attack, and 28 special defense. The HP and the defense lets me take any 2 hits from a adamant unboosted Mamoswine. If it's not Life Orb, I'll know, because I can live 2 Icicle Crash from adamant Mamoswine. And then the HP and the special defense lets me guarantee take 2 uninvested Hydro Pumps from Rotom Wash from full, and the rest are just thrown in a special attack to boost the power of its special moves. That's pretty much the long and short of it. Then moving on to the next Pokemon, we do have my Drapion. Drapion is basically just here to ensure that the Tapu Lele cannot just spam Psychic in my face. Granted, I do have a Celesteela, but I would rather not have to take Celesteela and bring it in multiple times if at all possible. Sugar Berry is also here to ensure that I have a way to at least take 1 hit from the Mamoswine if my Vikavolt is gone and I don't want to risk going Celesteela. And for the most part, this set is just basically designed to be my Lele check and just a really good abuser of knockoffs to get rid of potential heavy-duty boosts, get rid of any potential items like Choice Scarf, Life Orb from his team, Leftovers, or Rocky Helmet from the Druddigon. Just a really good move in general. Poison Jab is there for the Tapu Lele, Earthquake for the Lucario, and I already explained knockoff. So as for the investment, I am Adamant Nature. I am not going to bother trying to speed tie with Tapu Lele, because the only way that Lele can take out my Drapion in 1 hit is if it's Choice Specs or an item like Pixie Plate, Moonblast, wherever the case may be. So yeah, the investment is basically just here to ensure that I can guaranteed outspeed an adamant max speed Lucario. The 36 special defense ensures that I'm trying to think. It's basically there to ensure that I am never 1-hit KO'd by any hit that Lele goes for, if it's not Specs or like Wise Glasses or Pixie Play, like I mentioned, after rocks. So if he's like a Scarf Lele and he goes for Moonblast, he will never knock me out in 1 hit after rocks with the Moonblast. 16 defense also guarantees that I avoid being 1-hit KO'd by Jolly, Life Orb Lucario's close combat after rocks, and the 240 EVs in attack with an Adamant Nature ensures that I can always knock out a 0 bulk Tapu Lele with Poison Jab. So yeah, that's the set I went for with the Drapion, hitting all the benchmarks that I really wanted to hit, be a bit of a nuisance with knockoff SD if possible, and also gives me a check to the Decidueye. And then finally, we do have my Kommo-o with the leftovers Substitute, Bulk Up, Drain Punch, and Poison Jab. Now originally, I did not have Bulk Up on my Kommo-o. I was originally Dragon Dance, because Kommo-o was just really good in this matchup because of the fact that he didn't really have the best responses for fighting types. Like, his fighting resist is the Lele and the Decidueye. I can hit the Lele super effectively with Poison Jab. The Decidueye is hit neutrally by Poison Jab as well. And I have ways of dealing with the Decidueye, being the Cinderace, being the Celesteela. Chip that thing down, Vikavolt chips that thing down, Drapion forces it out with a knockoff, etc, etc. And the best thing about Bulk Up over Dragon Dance in this set is I can potentially use his physical attackers or his more bulkier Pokemon to set up and make it towards my advantage. Basically, behind a Substitute, Rotom can never break my sub if it's defensive. Like, the only way that Rotom would ever break my sub is if he's offensive. And even if he is offensive Hydro Pump, then I can just keep subbing, getting leftovers recovery, Drain Punch, and essentially PP stall the Rotom out of Hydro Pumps because he only has 8. Once he runs out of Hydro Pumps, the Rotom has no way of breaking my sub in one move with any one attack. If he tries to Will-O-Wisp me and he's not faster than me, I will get the sub up. He cannot burn me because I'm behind the sub. Bulk Up, just get off multiple Bulk Ups and then try to sweep him in that case. So yeah, my potential win cons in this game is between my Kommo-o and my Celesteela for the most part. EV spread, pretty straightforward, max HP to be as bulky as possible. Enough speed is there to outspeed Adamant, max speed Decidueye. I figured not trying to outspeed Mamoswine because of the fact that Mamoswine, if my Kommo-o was weakened enough, he would just click Ice Shard anyway. And I feel like he would, like, that mentality of Mamoswine will try to revenge kill me if I was DD. And being Bulk Up is a lot better to take the hits, the physical hits from Mamoswine a lot better regardless. So yeah, that is the team. Hope you guys did enjoy the team builder. I do apologize if it's a bit more long-winded than usual, but without further ado, let's skip right on over to the battle. Let's get it. Alright, so here we are with the battle against the Philadelphia Phantumps. Really looking forward to this battle. Really excited with the team that I ended up building for this matchup. And looking at what he brought the Reboot, okay. But this is more or less what I was expecting, to be perfectly honest. There's no Mamoswine. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. He did not bring Mamo. I really thought Mamoswine was going to come, but that frees up my Vikavolt so much. But yeah, regardless, I am still leading off with my Diancie. Like you look at his switches to Specs Moonblast, he has, it's legitimately Reboot. Kommo-o also looks amazing because I get rid of the Lele. And the Druddigon too. So yeah, if I get Druddigon weakened and I get rid of Lele, then Kommo-o definitely goes in. Like, I'm really happy about that. But I'm really surprised he did not bring Mamoswine. But regardless, hopefully we get to get a nice clean game going on here. Good luck, have fun to my opponent. Yeah, the nerves are still going on. They're a little bit jittery. Okay, no disconnect, perfect. He leads off with Dragon Tails. That's a Druddigon. Okay, this is a perfect lead for me. Okay, so the only way that this Druddigon does not die to Moonblast is if he's Focus Sash, Assault Vest, or he's Rosalie Berry. So, risk clicking Moonblast, I don't care what he goes for, Or if he's offensive and outspeeds me. There's that too. He's not. He's not Rosalie Berry. Is he Focus Sash or Assault Vest? That's a no. And that's a dead Jordagon. Oh my god. Turn 1. Jesus Christ. And just like that, Kommo just became a whole lot better. Just like that. Turn 1. That is crazy. But yeah, like I said, Specs the Yancey was going to put in a crap ton of work. And right away. Rotom comes in. The Yancey still has a lot of merit in this game. And I'm just going to go out into my Vikavolt, because my Vikavolt's job, or my Vikavolt's role in this game is pretty much non-existent. Because the mon I wanted Vikavolt for is not here. Technically I could have used Vikavolt to check Lucario, but for the most part, my Kommo-o does that already. And if my Celesteela can do that too, and my Cinderace, so yeah. And because my Vikavolt, he does go for Hydro Pump. I should be able to live 2. And that is offensive. Okay. That is offensive Rotom. I don't know if he's Scarf or not, or Specs, whatever. But I'm just going to Volt Switch, because I want the free switch into Kommo-o regardless. I see Hydro Pumps again. Does connect again. So Vikavolt's going to go down here. Which is okay, but kind of sucks. So Vikavolt's down. And let's just go in. I just feel like just going into Kommo-o right now. Let's go into Kommo-o and start and sub for the most part. Because just looking at what he brought, like his Jordagon's down. Like I just really like my my Kommo-o here. So let's sub up. Hopefully he's not a speedy Rotom. This could be a bad play for the most part. But if he's outspeeds me and Will-O-Wisps me, that's fine. We're faster. Perfect. Get the sub up. Let's see what he goes for. Will-O-Wisp. Oh yes. Oh, it's time. It's time already. It's time already, guys. Alright, time to bulk up. We're bulking up. I don't need to Drain Punch right away. It does nothing. So we know that it's not choiced. And we know that it's offensive. So this could just be max HP, max special attack, modest. Hydro Pump, connects. Does this break my sub, is the question. Not very effective. It broke my sub. Oh, dang. Okay, so that has to be max special attack modest. Like, no doubt about it. But regardless, I'm just going to sub again. Because he's already used 3 Hydro Pumps. He only has 5 left. Yeah, I'm going to sub again. Like, I can play the long game with the Hydro Pump. Yeah, okay, he's just going to Volt Switch. So that's fine. So he's going to Volt Switch out. What does he go into, though? Like, what does he honestly go into? If he goes Miltank or Lucario, I just Drain Punch those. Reboot gets Drain Punched. Or he gives me Lele. I will take this. I'm behind a sub, so yeah, this is a free Poison Jab. I don't know if +1 Poison Jab will kill. I mean, if he's the Poison Resist Berry, then he's the Poison Resist Berry, that's so be it. But I'm still gonna Poison Jab. Like, there's no reason for me not to. Psychic breaks my sub. That's fine. Hopefully +1 Poison Jab will kill. No Poison Resist Berry, that's good. It dropped. Oh my god, no crit either. Okay, Lele down. And so are his Drain Punch switch-ins. We know the Kommo-o is faster than Rotom. Reboot can't really do much to me. Yeah, this isn't looking good for my opponent, not gonna lie. He goes out into Bluebell. Okay, Miltank. Well, I don't know what Miltank is gonna have here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sub again. I'll sub one more time. And the reason for this is I want to see if he has Seismic Toss. If he Seismic Tosses, then that's fine. I just Drain Punch right afterwards. But I'm just scouting. So I am faster than this too, so that's good. As he goes for Reverse Ice Punch. Okay. This should break my sub at +1, right? It doesn't! Oh, wow. Okay, so that is that's like a very defensive Miltank with no attack investment, but I am going to get one more bulk up. This pretty much ensures that I can 2 KO the Rotom. Well, I already 2 KO Rotom, but I could potentially Oko Rotom, if I'm being honest, with Drain Punch. Ice Punches again. That should break my sub. And then from here, I'll sub one more time, and then I'll go for a Drain Punch. Because the way he definitely doesn't have Seismic Toss. He would have clicked it already. So yeah, sub again. Ice Punch. Unless he crits me, it doesn't break my sub. Super effective. Doesn't break my sub. Perfect. And this is a free Drain Punch. Because he doesn't really have anything to switch into this. Psychic Terrain wears off. Doesn't matter. So we just go for the Drain Punch here. We pick up our KO unless he's Chopple. He's not Chopple. We do take out the Miltank. Perfect. And we're going to bring out a lot of health. Oh, wow. We're essentially back at full. When Miltank is down... Oh, we got back everything but 1. Oh, wow. But yeah, this is looking like I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it looks like Kommo-o's about to get a really early sweep going. Roger. Okay, so the reboot comes out now. And I'm actually gonna sub. To be fair, I actually feel like subbing here. And this isn't really being cheeky or anything, but I really want to see what he goes in. He goes for high jump kick. Okay, so basically I did this for the main reason being my sub took damage from the Miltank. Like, this should break my sub though, and it does. So yeah. So basically, I just wanted the fresh subs, so that way the next high jump kick doesn't break it, and then I can Drain Punch again. Like, it seems like I do apologize if it does seem like I'm being like very, very cheeky with the way I'm playing right now. I click Drain Punch, but yeah, I pretty much just want to like throw any potential like out for my opponent out the window. I don't want to take any chances with like the Lucario, as we knock out the reboot. So reboot goes down, and now all he has left is the Rotom and the Lucario, which are both going to get Drain Punched to the face. So yeah, that is 3 kills now for the Kommo-o. And all he has left is the Rotom, which he's going to go out into right now. Okay, so I guess the way that he's keeping this Lucario in the back, maybe he doesn't have like Psychic or whatever, but I'm going to Drain Punch again. Because I should 2 KO this. I'm at +2. I'm like easily 2 KO this because it's definitely offensive. So we're going to get the Drain Punch off. As we knock it out. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, that explains why we crit him. Man. I didn't even need the crit. I was at +2. I really didn't need that crit. Yeah, but Kommo-o's about to pick up a 5-0. Literally set up in front of Rotom, bulked up twice and swept. I was not expecting it to go like this. Not gonna lie. And now he's down to his Lucario. I just Drain Punched that. Like, man, I didn't think it would go like this. I'm being probably on Bullet Punch. I think he is one to try to break my sub at the worst. Yeah, he did. Yep. So yeah, we're gonna Drain Punch. This should kill the Lucario. It does, and that's gonna be a 5-0 win for the Miami Malamarlins. Yeah, I don't know what else to say in that regards. Like, like the Kommo-o set worked. The Kommo-o set put in a ton of work. Really happy that I went with Dragon. That I didn't keep Dragon Dance on my Kommo-o, and I went to bulk up instead. Like, it put in so much work. But yeah, I wasn't expecting things to go so smoothly, to be perfectly honest here. It all got set up by that turn 1. The turn 1, the anti knocking out Druddigon with the Specs Moonblast was so crucial, because if I didn't do that, then I would have had a hard time breaking. I would have had a harder time with Druddigon, especially for Kommo-o's sake. Kommo-o would never have been able to do what it did in this game if I didn't knock out the Druddigon. Like, plain and simple. Like, this Kommo-o sweep was set up by the anti turn 1. Straight up. Even more so scary with the fact that I did it with only 3 Pokemon, like Celesteela, Cinderace, Drapion never hit the field, and all that stuff. But yeah, this is kind of the culmination that I was hoping for when a plan comes together. I just didn't expect it to come together as smoothly as it did. But I knew for a fact that when I got a sub with Kommo-o in front of that Rotom, I knew I had a chance to have this become a reality, and lo and behold, it did. So yeah, it's a 5-0 win for us. Kommo-o with 5 kills. Deancey picking up the kill on the Druddigon, and Kommo-o doing the rest of the legwork. And Vikavolt becoming an unfortunate casualty to the Rotom, but it was all for the sake of Kommo-o doing its thing. But yeah, good GG to my opponent. We do actually play him again, and this is the divisional game, by the way. So we do play him as well as our week 2 and week 3 opponents again later on in the season. So yeah, he'll definitely be looking for revenge for sure. But yeah, that is gonna be it from me, guys. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy the battle. If you did, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, and until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.